Okay, I think this is 5. We're on 5 for all these desk sessions. The desk sesh 5. I'm doing a better job lately of figuring out times to work, times of productivity, times of energy, and it's a little rough to. This is an experiment again, like this all is. Of uh, this is a wind down time for me, and I have an anxiety to can one of these. I'll be honest with you about the previous 4. I cached them a long time ago. Not a long time ago. They're maybe a month. I did a consecutive Saturdays, but I didn't release them till I had 4, and so they were released subsequent weeks, week to week to week. I put them in the can, as it were, and that has given me a false sense of accomplishment each week that I basically did my work. And now I'm at the place where I have to record one before Tuesday. Now I know this is a tried and true method. This is what podcasters do. Bloggers and vloggers do. They have deadline to get one in the can a week. Um, and so it's just an experiment to see, for me, the crucial thing is I won't lie and say I don't look at views. I don't have a big platform. So this is a freedom of anonymity to figure this stuff out. So, but I do know that consistency will be the key for getting anything off the ground. And I need to get a little more fierce with myself about the one man show is written to the degree that it is. This desk session things is now 4 deep, going into 5, and I haven't missed a week. Now, okay, no one's checking. That's great. Rather than let that be a self-esteem defeat, or rather than that be a big who cares, I care. That should be enough. I care that I get 1 a week going. And if I have to do 2 per week to have 2 to be ahead, and then keep anxiety at bay, keep the dread at bay, and keep the juices flowing, and the vibe, and the effort on the page with the writing. The thing I've added this week is I've reached out to a friend. I will probably have to ask if it's okay to use their name, but we'll just call her C. And she's a very accomplished writer and web presence, and is really working in the motivation space. And just one phone call has me fired up. And that's a testament to her work. And again, I'll make sure it's okay to share. But this is on my own. This is really something I haven't talked to her about. But she was talking about how interesting the one man show is. And again, I've in the early 2000s, I wrote, produced, starred in a play in New York City. It cost a lot of money that I sunk into it, and it didn't recoup, which is not the story. The story was it was a fantastic 3-week run for me. It was an incredible collaboration with the actors and the director, and a few people saw it. It opened the same week as the producers, so it was a tree falls in a forest experimentational theater piece. Wasn't that it was experimental in terms of content? It was a very straightforward bar play, 4 characters, 2 women, 2 men. It was about young people trying to make it in the city. It was a blast, but it didn't do the thing I needed it to do, which was, set me up. And then I moved to LA. And I came to LA with this creative momentum because I felt very strong about my abilities at the time. I had nothing to show for it because none of it was recorded. It was theater. And now I'm doing this again in the 2020s. I'm tracking myself into a piece of theater. But my friend C, she said to me, it's not just going to be about the people who see the show. It's about what the show does for you as a perception of the guy with the show, how it was received, all these things, and using social media as a funnel and a sieve to sort of be holistic about this thing known as me, which is what all artists are trying to do. And so it will be great if a lot of people see the one man show. It'll be great if I record it in such a way that it's produciably presentable, or if eventually it gets notoriety. All those things will be great. But if none of it happens, it doesn't have to be for naught. I can continue to do this. The finale of the desk session will be opening or closing night of that show. And that is a narrative, and it's also a byproduct narrative and an ancillary product of again, like the last one, talking about process. I don't know, movies about writers are tough because you can't sit and watch someone type narratively. Similarly, I had a conversation with the dude at the bar. He said that's why law movies are always in the courtroom. That would be like the opening night of what we do. You never see the amount of writing and researching and sitting at a desk poring over documents that a lawyer does. Narratively, that's not interesting, but that's the reality. Now, I don't want to say that desk sessions is only going to be taking you inside the boring part. And again, this is more of a vlog. It's more of me ranting by myself. Maybe it'll emerge as a pod where people will come on and talk about what's going on in their desk session, or who knows. But I wanted to get something down while I was feeling the encroaching angst of inactivity and productivity. Good news is I have an audition and I have to prepare for that. But even still, I wanted to lay this down so that I could forget about it. I could be a week ahead at least. And then if I do my usual Saturday recording session, that puts me a week ahead. But there is this sweet spot. I think 4 weeks might be too many, because I made a reference to the heat and turning off the AC to do these. And that was a reference to the heat wave. So that does sort of harken back to, this is stale bread or day old bread. And, bread is a staple, but you want it fresh. And so content is ubiquitous, but it is also needs to be served fresh. It's a real bummer to go back and listen to podcasts during lockdown. You may not watch them and you may not care that they're on Zoom and stuff, and they may have good mics and stuff, but you can just feel the woe of the disconnect. And so why would you listen to something of its time, even if they do have evergreen topics? I have really great friends who have great podcasts. Ryan Sickler, Jay Larson, two great comedians, two great friends. They have podcasts, and they had a great one called the Crab Feast Together. Now Ryan has one called Honeydew, and his whole structure and ethos is to be a storytelling comic also. And so they shun topics that are not evergreen. So that's why you would talk about struggles in your life, weddings, deaths, funerals, getting into schools, all these evergreen stories, tripping balls at an amusement park, all that stuff is part of keeping that stuff evergreen so that you can listen to the archive. So there is a fine line, but if you're topical, and this is sort of topical, it's a topic. Egotistically, the topic is me and my process. The topic is me and my hopes, and me and my project, and me and my aspirations, and me and my hopefully overcoming previous patterns of inertia, and previous patterns of self-sabotage, previous patterns of high productivity and then inactivity. And I'm trying to create habits. I started stretching. That was something we did at Carnegie Mellon every day. We had a movement class every day. And then eventually we had a class that was a 20-minute class at 8 o'clock in the morning. Body dynamics was literally stretching, so that every single day of class, in a conservatory, in a university, in a drama school, every single day of class started with yoga, stretching, vocal warm up, so that your whole instrument, which is, as an actor, you are the instrument, your whole instrument had to be ready for the day. And for many, many years, I let it slide, and I didn't do it. And it's, um, I'd have to look, but I don't. It's not quite a year, and I'm stiff as a board because of age and of insufficient stretching. But I am getting on a yoga mat every day, willy nilly, and I'm stretching, and I'm getting that habit, which is a habit you can take on the road, which is a habit you don't need much space. I don't live in much space, so it's a habit I can do. I don't need the fancy studio, and I'm just trying to get portable in mind, spirit, body, and I'm trying to create habits that are, quote unquote, the creative habit. Is a book my sister lent me. I think it's Twyla Tharp, a choreographer. The creative habit. And, I had that discipline early in my career and lost my way a bit, and now am coming full circle. I've always had a serious journaling habit, and I'm attempting to start my days again with that, but without the pressure. If the thing ain't feeling, if the problem with me as a sports writer's son is, once you start a streak and you break the streak, you feel like the streak is over. But the greater good is to get back on the horse. And so maybe I'm starting to worry less about streaks and more about consistency and page by page, word by word, piling it up. And to be honest, if it's a 20-minute rant at a camera in my apartment, getting one a week done should not be that onerous a task. And obviously, I am straight up going off the dome. Maybe it'll be more prepared someday. Maybe I'll talk about something other than the nature of what's going on in my head. But it's a vlog. This is literally a video journal, and I'm not putting pressure on myself to entertain, which is clear because I, I'm probably in the low fidelity range of entertaining right now in this desk session, but um, it's coming from a place of as sincere as you can be talking to a camera, as sincere as you can be when you've charged up a lavalier mic. And again, in my last session, I talked about effort. This is the effort of me making peace with wanting to communicate and wanting to share, making peace with, guess what? I don't know how many times it has to be for me to feel right, but I've been on television, I've been on stage, I've published, I've existed in a marketplace I wanted to, maybe not at the degree of fame, maybe not at the degree of fantasy, but I can speak on a few things, and I should make peace with that. And eventually that will hopefully lead to my finished product of 9 Miles from Manhattan. But I got another title because my friend C, she has told me that the similar title and the overlap with a more famous title isn't a bad thing. And in my effort to be the good boy, to be the proper student, to be the proper serious person, if it resembles somebody else, throw it out. I bought the domain name before I Googled it, and the domain was available, which made me very excited because the domain name being available meant that I'd kind of coined something. And then when I Googled it, someone else has a title, a very prominent bestseller, huge celebrity, a big, big deal. And so then it put my title in jeopardy. But my friend, who's working in the search engine optimization and motivation circle, and has 15 books and over 1,500 reviews on Amazon, maybe more than that, 2,500. I don't want to misquote her stats, but her thinking in motivation marketing and in marketing on the internet, that those similar titles aren't to be avoided. And I suppose what I thought was inauthentic, inorganic was I wouldn't want to piggyback on that. But what the heck is the point of that? Um, if the title works and it's thematic and it came from the heart and it's a line in the show, that might be the only trepidation. Do you want that hokey moment in the play where, you know, you say, remember the Titans, you know? How do you go through Hamlet and get to be or not to be? How the hell do you get to that without addressing the elephant in the room? Whereas, you know, there's only, all we're doing is waiting to see how the hell they manage to get through to be or not to be once they get through the Hamlet. So the only reason for not using the title might be that it is word for word something out of the show. But I think that's kind of funny. And there's probably a moment there that I could create. So I'm still on the fence about whether to share the title in this, which is about as safe as keeping in a vault as far as the eyes that are going to be on this. But so far, we're 9 miles from Manhattan. And although I really like, do these pants make me look marketable, I am not so sure. I'm distracted by the dog, and I hope that's not coming through. I think this is an omnidirectional mic. I think that means one. Or does it mean many? I don't know. Omni is multiple, right? Uni is a unidirectional, would be only one direction. So anyway, we are working and we are glad to do it. And I've actually found myself out of this mood before I sat down. I'm out of the mood. So the doing is the thing. The thing is the doing. And doing this today has helped me out. I appreciate it. If you got any glimmer of interest or any glimmer of an idea of this being helpful for you, and I'll be back. And I don't know where I'm at in length. I kind of go off and then wind it down. And I'd like to keep them semi-uniform, but you know, I'm also in this ballpark of I'm in this ballpark of 20 minutes, which is like probably, with all the research done, is the least and the most you're asking of people. So it probably has to live either more or a lot less. But again, we're figuring that out. And again, I'm starting to use previous thoughts of things being shortcomings as assets. So getting to work this out until it's right, or until it's better, or until some of these things are answered, is a luxury. So thank you if you do see this, and if you let me learn on the job. I appreciate it. And that's Carl DeGregorio, Desk Session 5, Desk Session 5. Thanks. Peace.